Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stunner. We're with a very special episode of VSW podcast. Tonight, we got a very special guest, one of my personal favorites, the man, the king of cream himself, Stan Stylez. Welcome.
That's right. I'm here.
This has been a long time coming. I have to say, it's been about 4 or 5 years now. I've been definitely a fan. I've been checking it out. I started to watch the Intergender Bonanza and I got into it and I was like, wow, this is something special. It's something different. It's something I don't see every day.
Yeah.
And that's what really draws me in as a wrestling fan, something that I don't get to see every day. And I kind of followed it from there. And, I love Jersey, but to go by myself, it's a little bit of a hike.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Thank you so much.
But welcome to the show. I said, briefly, we'll get into, I know you got some great news to tell us, but briefly, when did you get into pro wrestling?
Man, pretty much I would watch it. When I was a young kid, I watched WWF Superstars, and I saw Shawn Michaels do the Heartbreak Hotel. I told my mom, I was like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be a pro wrestler. And she was like, oh, that's great, Stanley, whatever. And I was like, no, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. And then fast forward all these years, and here I am.
Yeah, you did. And I take it you went to a school and got trained and did all that fun
Yeah.
stuff.
I went to so many schools. Back in the days, it was different. So like now, there's a lot of really good, incredible schools. Like back in the day, we had to like really like search for a good, credible school or just a ring to train. Now, like with the power of social media, there's so much now.
Yeah, no, I know. I know people that like trained under Killer Kowalski. I'm like, well, when we trained, we actually didn't have a ring in the place. It was just like kind of a gym, and it's like mats, and it's like. But now, there's so many schools. There's so many more ways of getting,
Yeah.
the training done. I know, like a lot of people have said in the back in the time, it was you would get trained to a certain point, and then everything was kind of okay. Now we're gonna go on the road. You're gonna learn as we go.
Yeah, that's how I was. That's the old school way. Yeah, that's how I was. I did about 6, 7 months of training, and like they were like, "All right, you know your basics, you know what you're doing. Go out there and do it. You gotta be a character. This is what we're gonna be for a character." They're like, "Want you to be despicable?" I created Stan Styles.
And I mean, and I guess in a lot of ways, I know people have their hesitation. It's like, oh, they should go to X amount or do this for X amount. But it's like, in a lot of ways, you got to appreciate it. It's kind of that breaker to make it. It's either if you can do it under these, conditions, then you shouldn't be doing it at all.
Yeah,
You
100%.
know,
I always say this.
um,
Can we curse on this?
what is it?
Can we curse on this?
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah. All right. You gotta be fucked up in the head to be a pro wrestler. Like you got to look what I do. You gotta be fucked up in the head. If you're
Yeah,
not,
I mean, it's not your average. Hey, I'm gonna, it's not your 9 to 5. Hey, I'm gonna be, but you gotta want it. You gotta love it. You gotta,
yes,
want to live that lifestyle. There's a lot of
100%.
elements that people don't see it on the screen, but they, especially in the indie scene, it's totally different. You gotta hustle and bustle.
Mhm.
Thursday through Monday, you better be out there, and then the rest of the week, you better be on social, getting people to get you out there.
Yes, 100. It can be very stressful in your mental health, but I love it. I've been doing it so long now, and I would never go back. I was like, nope, this is what I was born to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you can tell like the people that really like, that they go out there, you can tell the passion that and they put in the dedication and
Mhm.
it's not easy. And like I said, you've done a lot of wrestling, you started that intergender bonanza.
Yeah.
Has that been something that's always been kind of a passion? Because I mean, me personally, I love intergender wrestling. I think it's one of the when it's done correctly, I think it's one of the greatest things in pro wrestling. When it's done poorly, it turns out terrible. When it's done right, and I've seen a lot of great wrestlers do it, you know, amazingly. A lot of fans are like, "Nah, that's not the guy and the girl shouldn't be fighting." But it's like, but then in the same sense, you're talking about wrestling as wrestling. It's like
Yeah.
you can't have both. If you want it to be the storylines and the way you want it to be, then this is how it should be. But is that something you saw, or is that something that you kind of just grew into?
I never. The first time I ever even did an intergender match against a girl was in Beyond Wrestling when they were just doing tapings in Allentown, and I wrestled. Oh my goodness, why can't Veda Scott? I almost had a brain fart. I wrestled Veda Scott, and for some reason with the Stan Styles character, it just really got over. Like it got so many hits, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Stan versus girls," and it just took off from there. And then, yeah, like you just said, there was people like, "Oh, I shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that," but it's like, who are you to tell me who's my equal in this make believe world of professional wrestling? Like, and I always say,
And that's what it boils down to.
yeah, and it's like people who take I don't take myself too seriously, and you can in pro wrestling, you really can't. But like I'll get comments sometimes, and I laugh at them. They're like, "Oh, like Stan shouldn't lose to this girl or something like that." I'm like, "Who? I guess like." Buddy, did you get mad when Chung Li beat your ass in like Street Fighter? Get this,
Yeah, it's like okay, and in half of the movies you people watch, like
yes,
the
that's true.
hero should not survive after that first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and we're superheroes and villains in the ring. We really are. We're in tights and like we're literally real life superheroes. We're rock stars. We're all that. But
You are, and and that's what I think that really draws me to you personally as like as the wrestling character because you bring it back to a time where wrestling was light, funny, and
yeah,
it wasn't meant to be serious. I didn't have to go in as this superstar athlete or this championship UFC fighter. You could go in as king of the cream. You could go in as a baseball player. You had repo men. You had clowns. You had characters that just went in there that were that character and wrestled, and
yeah.
it was just like for a while, I'll be honest, I was fucked up as a kid. I was like, do all clowns wrestle? Do all repo men wrestle? Or is it just this guy? It really threw me up.
Yeah,
But but
yeah,
that crossover, seeing those characters, that's
yeah,
what those bright lights. That's what made wrestling for me the escape that it became. It's
yeah,
not walking in from one real situation to another.
yeah. And not to discredit like the athletes, MMA fighters. Like, you have to always have like I always say it's almost like a buffet or like ice cream parlor of different characters and wrestlers. It makes it fun. It makes it boring. Like and everyone can't wrestle the same. I always tell young wrestlers coming up, you gotta stand out. Like the best way to get noticed is you have to stand out. I didn't know how to Skype, but yeah, and I just say that you just got to get noticed, got to be different from everybody else, no matter something you do. And they're like, well, how do you stand out? Because they tell me like I stand out so much. I'm like, you got to figure it out for yourself. You just got to figure it out.
I mean, that's the thing. Wrestling is very subjective. So what
Yeah,
might, make me pop is definitely not going to make the next person pop. To get a
yeah,
whole bunch of fans that feel the same way, that's something special.
yeah. Um, I always try to tell myself now over the years, um, I always try to give myself like really big range, like where I could be a babyface or heel, and I can literally go out there and have a really good entertaining match with anybody, and it doesn't matter if it's a singles, tag, multi man, and just my range is just crazy. So promoters will look at me and be like, "Oh, I can put Stan in this and here," and it's different. And it's fun for so much fun for me because it's almost a different like story, a different like tale for me, but I can do it. I'm not like a one trick pony.
No, no, you're very versatile. And
Yeah.
like I said, the other thing you do is very well is you're very professional. Like a lot of some of your work is up there. It's kind of racy. It's a little bit,
Oh yeah.
a little
You know,
bit beyond, WWE TV will say, right?
yeah.
Um, I'm not gonna go as far as say it's like Joey Ryan type shit, but you know
No.
what I'm saying? It's up there in the maturity level, right? But it's
Yeah.
held and it's still put on in a
Yeah.
respective way.
My older stuff, man, back in the old days, the early like 2000, when I started 2010s, like the early like early 2010s. Yeah, it was crazy. Well, that's when wrestling was very like different back then, and like you can get away with more stuff like that. And I get it. I was just trying to be entertaining and funny. But now I softened myself up and made Stan Styles like from here to like all the way here, and like I just broadened my range and got more versatile, and just got more marketable too, especially with this stuff, like the non
And that's
WWE.
the thing I think is, as any wrestler, they should kind of just, the times are going to change. Just kind of got to go with those times as they change. And just your character is going to take adjustments along the way.
Yeah,
Very few characters in wrestling will last, from the beginning of time till now. They would
yeah.
have to have some adjustments along the way without fans having enough.
Yeah, and I've been going for 14 years now, and I have the CWO, and I feel like I'm going stronger than ever, like in all these years, and I'm still staying styles under it all. It's funny, Marcus Mathers saw me. I was getting changed, and he saw me that he knew me. He was a little boy, and he's like, "Man, all these years, and you still have that shake weight, and it's still over." I'm like, "Yep," it's crazy.
And you gotta almost wonder, like, what happens if it didn't work? What happens if, Stylez stand didn't work out? Did you have a backup plan in mind?
I didn't take no for an answer. I was like, no, like I knew I studied professional wrestling. I still study. You have to study it. And I just figured out what could I do to like just stand out and be different and just be funny. Like, because I was my matches, a lot of people would laugh at me and they would think I'm so funny. And they're like, Stan Styles is like the comedy relief, but he can wrestle too. But like he's entertaining. He's all these emotions. And and it was like, you know what? Like I never really would look at myself like a backup plan. I had other ideas. I'm like, but nothing's gonna beat Stan Styles to the core.
No, no, definitely. You mentioned like Beyond, and
Yeah.
that's one of the places that really got me into the independent scene and kind of opened my eyes. I mean, for a long time, similar to yourself, I grew up in pro wrestling, the whole nine yards, WrestleManias, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, Bret Hart was in there. Then HBK came out,
Yeah.
93, 94. And, he would just dominate. And, I was a big fan of the heels. I liked the bad guys.
Yeah.
I'm still upset that he actually lost WrestleMania against Austin, but I get it. He was injured, but that's neither here nor there. But then it got to a certain point that wrestling for me personally got just stale. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was around that, a little bit into the ruthless aggression era, and I'm just like, because the
Yeah.
attitude era was so wild. It was so wild, and I was at the right time frame for it to be wild. I was at that age,
Yes.
that you're at that late teenage that, well, this is just great shit every night. I'm going to wrestling shows. Girls are showing me their tits. It's a whole different
Exactly.
world out there.
Yeah, it's like a
You know,
concert.
it was insane. I would go with my father and friends, and literally, fans behind me would top us, and I'm just like,
Yeah, it was so
wow,
crazy.
this is good.
I
You're
was
not gonna see that today. You're never gonna see
no,
that.
I was the same way. Like growing up, the golden era. Like, and it's funny for me. I always like the baby faces. I liked Hogan and like Macho Man. But growing up, I mean, well, getting into wrestling and like finally like understanding what professional wrestling is and being trained. I was like, I was for the heels. Like, oh, I'm like Rick Rude's the man. Ric Flair's the man. I was like, that made me love the heels.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing because in the end, the heel is kind of the one that's got more control over. It's your
Yes.
job to be that heel, but it's also your job to make your opponent be that face.
Yeah.
And you get to be despised. You get to kind of get away with a little bit more. You don't have to be so nice. Where the
Yeah.
good guy always got to be happy. You always got to be like the underdog, kind of like, oh,
We say like the baby face has to always move forward, no matter what. You're always moving forward. But as a heel, if they're playing a game of chess, like they're the queen, they can go back, left, right. They can do more. With a baby face, is always pushing forward. So that's why people like being heel more because you can do more stuff. Me personally, it doesn't matter. It's always gonna be entertaining no matter what.
yeah, you just go out and entertain.
It's
But
ridiculous.
so yeah, to fast forward, I got stale with professional wrestling, and when I was a kid, indie scene was just it wasn't good. I'll be honest. There
Yeah.
was a couple of I would go to shows. There would be unknown names, and then a couple WWE one-ups that bring in the Honky Tonk Man or the Warlord or somebody cool, and I'd go to see it. But I couldn't follow the characters, and we didn't have internet. We had magazines. I didn't know where the Arkansas shows, the PWI. I would have to
Yeah.
follow all around the globe.
Yeah.
But around 2016, 17, about 17, I got into wrestling again, and I started watching Beyond.
Yeah.
And I started seeing the likes of people like Orange Cassidy and stuff like that, and seeing characters that were on the indie scene that I could go to a show and watch that were
Yeah.
just as good and on par as what's on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere in between that time, I think indie wrestling changed over. It became, it evolved.
Yeah, it really, especially in your area too. The New England area is booming. Like what you just said, like in those early like older 2000s, you didn't really see as much. But yeah, like you said, 2016, 17, like it really started really like booming like crazy. And then it just wrestling in general was just now. I think indie wrestling, just professional wrestling in general, is on a upward. It is just red hot right now.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been, I feel like there hasn't been as much wrestling on TV as since probably the end of the rating wars with
Yeah.
WWE, WCW, and ECW all running, and plus you got more independent wrestling now than ever with
Yes.
IWTV, Fight which is now I think Thriller, and you got a few other apps out there that you can
Mhm.
watch. Promotions stream. Promotions now have their own way of showing you their
Yes.
shows. Via YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more exposure for wrestlers, indie wrestlers, no matter the level of their wrestling. They don't have to, be on the national stage to get national exposure.
Yeah, I always say this too. Like, social media is like our resume now. Like, yeah, I always say it, even as a promoter, like it's great to have a resume, but really, like, as a promoter, and other pros will say this too. They want to see what you're doing on social media. They want to see your interaction, your tweeting, like how many followers you have. If you have, they want to see that fan base because you're going to draw money in for that company. It's crazy now how
But
social media.
and then they also want to see, which I mean, I always, I tell everybody, just keep your personal opinions to yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
When it comes
yeah,
to social media, or when it comes to the wrestling industry, I feel like some people want to, express them and express, one way or the other and whatever, and it's just always just somewhat best just to not get involved, because even prospects do look at that, be like, oh, he believes this one way, and it's just like it could be a tweet from like 50 years ago
yeah.
or something, and they'll look at it and they'll be like, well, and it's just like,
I always tell,
it's so I gotta tell you, but just social media should just be this kind of like,
yeah,
you're gonna have your character, keep it your character,
be
and
your
keep it
character.
only your character.
Yeah, promote yourself, promote your matches, your promos, like promote pictures. Like that's what it's for. Promote yourself.
And if you do get into anything, just kind of make sure you kind of realize, or let people realize, you're staying in character, whatever the character
Yeah,
would go.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Um, unfortunately, I've seen some shit where people just get kind of torn down for like stupid error. And it's
Yeah,
just like, it's just clerical. It's just like, but social media is new. And like I said, it has a double-edged sword. You got fans out there that can now, go out there and just kind of tear your show apart or tear you apart from afar for
yeah,
no reason. And
yeah,
and they like that because negativity draws, and you get the interactions.
yep,
All of
yep,
a sudden the tweet
100%.
count goes up, monetization numbers go up. It's a way to make money.
Yeah,
Negativity. So we here at the VSW, I don't really believe in the negativity. I know
yeah,
it does sell, but I it doesn't do anything for me except just make me into a bad mood. So I like to, push positive things. I like to,
yeah,
talk about the good things in wrestling, what's going on, who's winning belts, who's the next and upcoming stars, because we are in an area of New England where there is such fast-paced wrestling that
yeah,
people are moving left and right every day from, VFW halls over to AEW and over to WWE and vice versa.
yeah,
And you've been in the middle of it all. You've seen it all. You wrestled a lot of people. You wrestled
yeah.
a lot of people that have moved in and out.
Oh yeah. And people, it's funny because you mentioned that, like, people will like really look back on like people I've wrestled. They're like, "Whoa, you wrestled MJF?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Whoa, you wrestled Sonny Kiss?" I'm like, "I wrestled Sonny Kiss a bunch of times."
People forget,
Crazy.
like at one point, MJF was winnerless world champion. He was up in Maine and Yarmouth, Maine, wherever in Maine, doing his thing. And it's like everybody starts somewhere. And that's what's
Yeah,
so cool about the indie scene. You can watch those beginnings.
yeah. I definitely wrestled a lot of like stars that have that going on. And I, you know what? I literally they would say I helped pave their way. It's actually it's crazy. Go back. And like you said, indie wrestling, like it's just it's itself is just crazy. Like you never know where we're we never know where we're gonna be next. We really don't.
No, it kind of moves, for a while it was kind of going on the standard of, what the major leagues were doing, that, the indie scene would kind of fall. But then the indie scene kind of got better in a way. And it was
It did.
like, well, we're going to do our own thing. We have our own following. We got people that come to our shows that don't watch WWE, that
Yeah,
don't watch AEW. We got fans that just like our stuff. So let's focus on us and do our own thing. And it kind of went in that direction for a lot of people,
the
which is
talent.
awesome.
Oh yeah,
I can go to, almost any indie show and catch a good story now. Where
yeah,
before, like I said, there was no storylines.
yeah. The talent pool too is so much younger than when I started, but they're so good. Like the talent pool of young wrestlers are just so good right now. Like it's crazy. It's like I can't. It baffles my mind. Like the girls and guys like 19, 20-year old or younger than that. I'm like, what? Like it's crazy how good they are.
It is, but I also feel that guys and girls are also wrestling older too.
Yeah, yeah. There's that too. Yeah, it's just so broad right now.
But like again, at that time of the, and everything, wrestling became more of a sport, and people take it a little bit more serious. They take their bodies more serious, what they put
Yeah,
into it as an athlete. They do more training. There's less drug use prominently.
Yeah.
That was in the 80s and early 90s that took place in major wrestling. I mean, you could still see Dark Side of the Rings about it, but people, unfortunately, the people that we grew up watching didn't take very good care of themselves.
No, they made it look good on the outside, but inside they were a mess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
people like
trash
Ultimate
can.
Warrior, Macho Man, I mean, they all gone too soon because of their bodies just couldn't handle whatever they're doing, and it's sad. And you see the horror stories later. As kids, obviously, we didn't know anything, because we saw the beautiful picture. We saw them come out as
Yeah.
superstars again, rock stars. To put
Yeah.
that term, that's what they are and what wrestling is. They're role models and rock stars. And I think today's generation of wrestlers take that role model a little bit more seriously. So they do things that are better for the youth to follow and better for teenagers to follow and better for your health and promoting wellness, promoting rest, whatever it might be. They're out there doing it.
Yeah, 100%. They definitely do.
Which is nice to see. It's funny though. I was surprised. My wife was actually the one that brought up when we were watching Mania that they started having and taking in vodka sponsors. My wife
Yeah.
was like, "Are they promoting vodka?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think so." She's like, that doesn't bother you. I'm like, I don't really know. And she's like, well, what if our kid was watching and wants to buy the vodka? I'm like, I guess you're right.
It's like, well, you're too young. Wait till you turn 21.
um, but yeah, so like you said, you had a lot of matches, you've worked with a lot of folks. Anybody in particular that you just really loved working with?
Oh man, there's so many. I loved working Effie. I loved working Sexy Eddie. Little Mean Kathleen. We had like a lot of good matches. The girl I wrestled at Creamiest, Erica Demia, I really had a lot of fun in our match wrestling her. Oh man, anytime I got to wrestle Marcus Mathers too, that was a lot of fun. There's so many. Those are all the top of my head though.
Yeah. Little Mean Kathleen really killing the scene right now. She's
Yeah,
doing her thing. She's gonna be, I think, picked up soon somewhere.
I think so. Yeah.
Have you tried to get like have you put resumes in to try to go to like WWE or anything, or is that just you're
Uh,
doing you and that's just how it is?
I feel now that I'm older, I pretty much like know my spot in wrestling. Like, hey, if I got called to go to WWE for anything, hell yeah. If it's an extra or even be a trainer or a coach, sure. But I feel like me being a little up there more in age to these, they would probably pick a younger person over me, and especially now, like um, they really look like they want young stars. But I feel like that if they did call me, hell yeah. But I'm happy on the indies. I'm happy keep going and keep wrestling anywhere and everywhere I go where people want me to see me. So I'm very content. I always have goals for myself, but I'm definitely content where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean you do good. Like I said, you have your phone, you got your shows.
Yes.
And at what point did you decide to, kind of take on the role as promoter and kind of, say, hey, I want to do my own show, my own kind of thing with my own talent?
Oh, that goes to a question I forgot to answer when you asked me before. It was the for the internet bonanza. I just had an idea. It was actually at a show in West Virginia for a company I worked for. My opponent couldn't make it the night of, and I was with my friend Raina Sky. Well, she goes by Raina Black now. She went by Raina Sky then, back in like
Yep.
2018, and she didn't have an opponent that night either. And I said, well, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I don't know. I think they're gonna have me just do a promo." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna go all the way up to West Virginia just for promo." I'm like, "Hold on," and I called the promoter up. I said, "Hey, why don't I just wrestle her?" And they're like, kind of were reluctant at first, like, "Nah, just trust me. I got this. It's gonna be great." Like, okay, we had a match. Fans loved it. It was funny. It was amazing, and fans were telling me, "Yo, I want to see more intergender matches with you." And the promoter like, "Yo, we should have more intergender matches." And it was just a catalyst to really go into my mind. I'm like, "Yo, I should just do my own show." And then did my first show up there in 2018. It got a lot of traction. People were hitting me up like crazy, and it was just supposed to be a one-off. It really was just supposed to stay in Styles Internet Bonanza was supposed to be a one show, one and done. And I had so much fun. It was stressful. It was crazy, but it was just because wrestling and promoting is a whole other engine. But I had a blast. It was like almost like my firstborn child was born. I was like, oh my god, and everyone was like, we want more shows. I'm like, gosh, I do another one. Yeah, we're doing another one. And then I did another one that took off. That was great. And fast forward, moving it to New Jersey at H2O. Now 19 of them done, which is crazy. I'm like 19 shows. I did this 19 shows, and we're still going strong, stronger than ever.
I remember. I think I caught a glimpse of the one where you were supposed to, where you did fight Ava Everett.
Yes. Oh, another one that was one of my favorites.
She's a great wrestler. One of the people that she's actually one that I'm surprised I don't see here in WWE or AEW. Like I don't see her with the
Awesome.
contract because she
Yes.
just kills it. Whatever promotion she shows up in.
She's down for everything and anything, and she's super cool. And she just like she gets wrestling. She just gets it. Like, and it's just I don't know. When we had that match, we just clicked, and it was just, everyone was like, "Oh my god, that match! It was crazy."
And like I said, she's another one that can work intergender really well.
Yes.
I've saw her work matches with Love Doug and such, and like she's one of those people that make it look good.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of like I said, intergender. And I'll go to shows and I'll take videos and I'll post some of the clips. And like I said, sometimes you get good response. Other times you get people that just don't understand what's going on. Unless like,
Yeah.
well, it's wrestling. How can you not understand what's going on? And if it's two guys, you understand what's going on. If it's two women, you understand what's going on. But a guy versus a girl, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. And sometimes
um,
they'll bash just a regular match, or they'll bash girls matches, and it's like people just want to, like you said, people just want to bash something. They just want to be negative. And it's like, all right, come on.
yeah, and I mean, I've seen championships defended. I've seen women win championships.
Yeah.
It brings an element of even more realism, I feel, to wrestling because we're in an era where women and men can do things equally.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah! And there's been some girls, and I not to discredit God's been in the ring with, but there's some really good wrestlers that are females right now, and they are just killing it. I'm like, yo, and it's like I want to have a good match. I want to have a good story. It doesn't matter if they're gender. I'm down. Let's go. Let's entertain the fans. It's all about the fans.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just mentioned Veda Scott. Look at her; she's killing it on the scene right now. Another one
Yeah.
that came so far. Another one I really like on the scene, Becca. She's gone
Yes.
to great heights.
Yes.
We're lucky in this area because we do get a lot of wrestling all the way from Jersey to Maine. And H2O sends a great place, I have to say. I went out there in 21. I went to Camp Leapfrog when they opened
Okay.
up out there. And then I stayed the night. I went to VXS before,
Mhm.
stayed the night, went to that show, and then stayed for the IWTV 100.
Yeah.
And H2O Center's a really nice arena, but there's one thing: it's a sauna. How do you work those summer shows?
Yeah, it's hard. Oh, it's hard. Yeah, it's gotta you gotta bring on. I bring my spray bottles up there, spray your face, bring a lot of cold water. Yeah, but I wrestled Effie for All I Want To for Marcus Mowers. All I Want To, it's probably 100 degrees, and we did it. And I mean, hey, if you want to lose some weight, it's great, but yeah, it can be tough.
I,
It can be
I,
really
I
tough.
felt bad. I mean, they shut the doors down, the garage doors. It was about 100 at least in there cooking.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, you got Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta fighting for an hour,
yeah,
a whole hour, and we're just sitting there. We're dying, and I can only imagine them
yeah.
dying. People are stripping outside. Wrestlers are ripping their clothes off. They're dying. But it's a great arena, and it's such like I don't know. It makes it like you can be really close to the action. You can really feel like you're part of it.
I always
It's
say,
intimate.
yes, it's
Um,
very like a Fight Club feel, as a very like gritty Fight Club feel. Yeah,
yeah, especially being in the warehouse and kind of seeing the gathering and just getting in there. And it's a lot bigger inside than it looks from the outside when you get in there because it goes
yeah,
back a little bit.
yeah. It's different. Yep, for
But
sure.
yeah, definitely a cool venue. What has been your biggest challenge, kind of, stepping into that promoter's role? Was it hard getting people to kind of wrestle with you, or is it kind of easy because you had wrestled a lot of people?
Man, that's a great question. Dealing with some wrestlers, not too much, because if they're a headache, I just don't do business with anymore. Like I really go for people who are really good, really professional. I have a really good core roster. Um, I would say there was that time where economy was kind of like nah, and even at H2O, like the draws were going lower and lower, and we're like, what are we doing? We were struggling a little bit as a whole to really get butts and seats, and um we had to really had to like really just go old school, like flyer more, get their names out more. I'm like, hey, and get new people to see the product, like selling that, because you have to always have new fans, an influx of new fans. Like there's always a core group of people that come to everything H2O. But now, like now, it's different. Like more people are, the brand's getting bigger and stuff. HO is getting bigger, but there was like I can't like that time where like we're like, damn, we really need to like get more butts and seats and really try to like get new people to come in and be like, yo, this wrestling like not far in Williamstown, New Jersey. It's entertaining. Come out and have a good time and escape life.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you feel like I know in Mass sometimes it gets a little saturated. Do you feel like in Jersey sometimes it gets a little oversaturated?
Yeah, that you just said it. There was a saturation that people just got the money, like economy. People didn't have money for shows. They couldn't have money to come out to afford all the shows. And I appreciate so much fans that spend their hard-earned money for these shows and buy merch because it means so much to us, big time.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did
There you
right here.
go. Yeah, that was an OG shirt right
You
there.
know, in 2020 it was heartbreaking. I'll go back a little bit.
Yeah,
In 2020 it was heartbreaking seeing all the wrestlers, promoters, everybody just at a standstill, at least in this
yeah,
area. And so I did start to do like, if you have merch, drop a link, and I would start doing random grabs and random pickups and stuff that I liked or just look cool because it is a way of giving back. Even if you can't get
yeah,
to a show, buy a shirt. You get to
yeah,
keep it, and it helps support the cause of wrestling. Indie wrestling, it thrives on that.
yeah,
As corny as it sounds, you need to have people out there throwing merch in your face, selling stickers, cards, magazines, books, whatever it is, because you know what? That's all is going to make the next show better.
yeah. It's our gas money. It's our dinner money. Like it's everything. It really helps us out so much. And like I said, for me, like it's my second job. For other people, like it could be their main job. Like people don't have like a shoot job, so it could be like really really hard. So yeah, I always
Well, oh yeah, no, it can be because there's no contract. There's no one's going to pay you for not doing your work, or even you have to do it all.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Um, and when indie wrestling, there's no contracts. Nobody's really signed anywhere. Everybody's kind of free agent. So what do you do to kind of make your product stand out a little bit more to get people to come to your show to see these guys and girls?
I don't even really sell intergender wrestling. I don't even sell wrestling. I sell myself. Like guys, that's the way because people love staying style. They know me for the shake weight, the cream, and my pants and this all that. That's how they know me. So I sell the IGB pretty much as the show that doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just a show that's so much fun, and it's just you have to see it live in person to experience it because um at Creamania, I had fans coming all over for WrestleMania week. A lot came from like all over the country. I had people from Canada, even Germany. They came out to see the show, and they were like, "This is amazing! I had so much fun."
So basically, you just overly mark out for yourself, kind of.
Well, I mean, I do love. I can always talk about myself, but pretty much, I just want people to have a good time and have fun, and escape life, and escape, and just not take themselves seriously and have a good laugh.
No, and
And
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying,
yeah,
like, that's the selling point, and that's great. Like, because, like I said, the character itself is sellable. The whole cream thing, I think, is
yes,
funny. Regardless which way it goes, I just think it's just something funny because it can be
yeah,
taken as innocent as you want, or it can take it to any level you want.
100%. Yep.
And that's the cool thing about it. But also, it's something different. There's nobody else on the indie scene doing it.
Nobody,
There's nobody else there like you. There's nobody else there
nobody,
that even
no
is
one
close to
wrestles
what
like
you
me.
do.
Yeah, no
You
one even
know.
people say the whole time like no one even wrestles like me. I'm like, nope, they don't. They just I learned to do it different. I learned to do it different. Well, everyone does it the same.
So in a lot of ways, you are the draw to the show because
Yeah,
you're the person that maybe you are different that you don't get to see in all these other shows
I would.
every week.
Yeah, I always say that the CWO is really like we're the big. I'm the big antagonist to the whole thing, and it just works. Whether I was starting out as just the baby face of the place, now I'm just this maniacal, evil, cream based villain that's the boss of the whole show, and I control the CWO. And we have Marcus Mathers, who's the champ, and I'm trying to like always like screw him around and fuck with him and take the belt off him, and it just works. It just can't break that.
Um, do you find it fun to like? Do you eat off the negativity? Because I watch the comments and like
Yeah,
as a fan of people personally, I always find it hard for me to like. I understand the whole heel
yeah,
baby face thing, but as a fan, I'm just a fan of who I like. So like, if everybody's kind of like booing somebody, if I'm supposed to do it, I just won't because well, I like the person. Do you feed off that kind of negativity? Being the bad guy now.
Yeah, I love it. As long as you're reacting, it's like Shawn Michael said this. As long as it's like sex. As long as they're loud, it's good. So I don't care. I don't care. I want them to be as loud as I possibly can,
No, that's
no
great,
matter what.
and I think that's what's fun with the heel work because you can kind of let your guard down. Because, like, I mean, the baby faces are fun too, but
Oh
you have
yeah,
to always be a good guy. You always have to play by the rules. You can't. You are that shining role model. You got to kind of stay that way. With a bad guy, you can cheat a little bit. You can do a little bit of dirty things.
yeah,
Um, but you have some big news, and I'm very excited for you. You told me about it, and I went out and bought a
yeah.
ticket right away. You're coming to Massachusetts.
Yes. Oh yeah. I'm actually doing a show in Massachusetts with Focus Pro. We're doing Star Cream Saturday night, May 25th at the Widowmaker Brewery in Braintree. It's a weird name, Braintree, Massachusetts.
I know it's weird because it's very weird when I saw it. I almost didn't buy the ticket because it's Widowmaker. My wife's gonna be on a flight to Italy. It's 2 days before my birthday. I'm like, I hope one of us don't
Oh,
drop. But this is gonna be one hell of a show.
it's your birthday present now. It's your birthday present. Early birthday. Oh, it's gonna be. Oh, the matches are coming soon. Matches are coming soon. I don't want to talk too
I
much
mean, I
about.
saw it. It's a lot closer to Jersey for me, so I'm very excited for it. Um, when I see your matches announced, that I always try to, I
Oh
hit up
yeah,
like my 4 friends and say, "Hey, you want to go to Jersey?" And everyone's like, "I'm busy. I'm working this week." And I'm like, oh, "Come on! If I
gotta come
drive by
here.
myself, I'm gonna fall asleep and crash somewhere. Just come
Yeah,
with me. I'll buy your ticket. I don't care."
let's go. Yeah,
No,
it's
I gotta work.
but that
But
we'll make
this
it
this
brewery.
I can just go. This I can just go to by myself.
Yeah,
I'll meet some friends there. It'll be a good time.
it's gonna be awesome.
Um, and you're going with another great promotion in New England Focus Pro.
Yep, up and coming promotion that's been really, really getting bigger and bigger. Like the last show we did, the whole thing sold out. So we're looking for another sellout. So
And it's a cool venue. Those bar
yeah,
type venues. It brings a different aura to pro wrestling. It's not your
yeah,
VFW hall. It's something a little bit more mature and
yeah.
a little bit more cleaner.
Yes,
You know.
100%. And it's very uh the crowd is nuts at Focus Pro. Like they are nuts and they're very loud and they want to be entertained. And they want to see good wrestling too. And we're gonna provide that.
Yeah, I saw you can kind of like beyond. You can crowd around the stage.
Yeah, it's very much yeah, there's stage seating. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I got the stage seating because
oh
every
yeah.
time I stand near the ring, I end up getting knocked down.
You can get take good pictures up there too, how they have it situated.
Exactly. I get a good video while I'm up there too.
Yeah.
I enjoy putting videos. You know what it does? It gets more eyes and ears on the scene. No matter where I'm going, people ask
Yeah.
me all the time, "Hey, where was that show? Who was that? What
Yep.
was that?" Some of my videos got into like the 10 million range.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it
not
helps us.
bad. That gets eyes and ears on an E&D level. It's not me on there. It's the guys and girls that are out there busting their asses every weekend. And I'll tell them where to find them, where to see them, and why they should watch them.
Yeah,
I'm a
100.
big supporter of the indie scene because I believe in it. I believe in what they do. I believe that that's the future of any wrestling. It all starts in these little places.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, 100%. And it's only gonna be up from here.
and that's the thing. I mean, without the indie scene, let's just say for a while WWE was taking people from pro sports and football and baseball, and that's fine too. And you get a lot of homegrown, but like I said, then there was a whole generation of kind of an indie scene around here where there was like no work because everybody was just kind of a nobody and people were just kind of used
Yeah,
just to lose. And now, there is that. You can be a character, you can have a fall, and you can have your own social, you can have your own creative flow, you can have people
yeah,
follow, you can sell your own t-shirts, figures, toys. I know people with 3D printers. Like the
yeah,
sky's the limit of what you can do.
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, right now you're wearing a CWO shirt. I mean,
WA shirt. Yeah.
that's great advertising right there. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's just, I mean, it's such a clever concept, anyways, because NWO. But
Yeah.
20 years ago, it'd be hard to even get that done.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I don't even have shirts coming in too. I just had to order a bunch of new ones because I sold out during WrestleMania week. So I ordered new shirts. I order another batch.
And you've been doing the WrestleMania weekend for quite a while, huh?
Yeah, well, this one in Philly was just something else because I wrestled like 4 shows. I was people. I think Marcus he wrestled like 11 shows or something like that. It was crazy how much like shows that were going on, and they all did good. All of them did good. As far as I know, all the ones I were on did really good. I ran my show Wednesday night Pre-Mania. It was a crazy success. Um, Biggest draw I had, and just had a lot more faces on the product and really got more people into the brand and checking it out.
And I mean, that's what it's about. Let me ask you a question as a promoter, because I always try to get people's
Mhm.
perspective. Do you feel it's better as a promoter to kind of work with other promotions and kind of cross market each other, or do you find it better to kind of just stay away and kind of do your own thing?
I mean, I think it's good because I'm trying to get my brand more noticed, like all over, not just Jersey. The Jersey's great, but like I said, like I'm trying to make the brand like I did for Stan Styles, like from here to here. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a big success and get more people to come because hey, if I do a show in Jersey, there might be people more coming from New England or even IWTV now. They might even check more of those fans might be checking me out on IWTV now. So it's just all good marketing and networking.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I don't know if you guys have a title now, but sometimes I like even on the indie scene, I'm starting to see some titles being,
Yep,
defended on other shows, and
I
it's
did.
cool
Yeah,
because you know what it is. It just it's the same universe in a lot of ways. I
yeah,
get it. Everybody's got their own story, but at the same point, where no one's exclusive, it's like, well, why couldn't this guy fight this guy for this title? Why
yeah.
not? What's
I
the
did.
reason behind it?
We defended.
What's
Yeah, I defended the IGB Super title. It's funny. The first show I focused for against Little Me and Kathleen. That was the first I defended it. And it's going to be on the line at Star Cream too. Marcus Mather's going to be defending it too, and Tyree Taylor's going to be defending the Focus Pro Championship. So there's going to be 2 championship matches that night. So it's going to be crazy.
That's fun. That's fun. Both
Yeah,
great wrestlers too. Both of
yeah.
them. I got to see Mathis at that. He was actually at that IWTV 100.
Mm,
Um, Great to see him. And I've actually I've seen Tyree up in seen him a few times. Once in Maine,
yeah,
beyond. Great wrestlers. And that's the thing, with this. Like I said, there's so much great talent in this whole area. It's just you have
yeah,
such matchups now.
yeah.
Dream matches.
Yeah, that's another thing I like to promote too. Like matches you're never going to see anywhere else at the IGB. Like it's insane. Like Mr. Ooh La La versus Matt Tremont. You're never going to see that anywhere else. Like holy crap.
Like, yeah, it's like what? Like even yeah, it's just you're not gonna. That's just something that you can't
Something
you
different.
can't replicate.
Yeah.
Is there anybody personally that is like you wrestled a lot? Is there anybody out there that you still want to wrestle? Like,
That's crazy. I've wrestled with so many people that I wanted to. Um, there's quite a few. I think it goes by Chris Adonis, but he was Chris Masters. I never
yeah,
had to. I'm like, yo, Stan Styles versus the Masterpiece has to happen. Like, holy crap.
he's back on the scene too. I
Yes, he
heard.
is. Yeah, yeah,
So maybe that can happen as well.
yeah.
I could see you maybe taking. Have you faced what's her name yet? The gnome,
No, not
Gabby
yet.
Forza.
Not
That
yet.
could be a good match too. She's an up and comer. She's doing pretty good. I can catch her on Beyond. She's been on my show a little bit. Gabby Forza. She's
No.
been kind of an up and coming. So many, like I said, wrestling, and it doesn't even matter. You can watch like 3 promotions and watch all this great wrestling, and 2 other people can watch 3 other promotions with all this great wrestling, and none of you can watch the same promotion. There's so many great promotions.
Yeah, really, really is.
Do you find though with that to kind of have to be overwhelming to run shows with so much, out there?
No, because I try to run on Thursday nights or Friday nights, so I can get out when I can. Because the girls are hard, and it's hard. Even with this show, like I'm like, oh crap. Saturday, I'm like, oh man. I'm like, well, the bar wants it Saturday because that's our big busy night. So I'm like, all right, well, because personally, I don't. I did do Saturdays, and Saturday is the best day for wrestling. But man, to get talent, especially like the female talent, they are booked. Like even myself, I get booked a lot on Saturday night. So I'm like, well, I love doing Thursdays or Friday nights.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And Friday nights aren't bad. See, for me, Friday nights are good if I can get to a local show. If I don't have to
Yeah,
like do hours of driving.
yeah.
But
Traffic
if
on
it's like
Friday
a
can be
main
crazy.
Friday show, it's hard for me because I have to leave like at 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's hard.
But But I am very much looking forward to, like I said, is this now the first show you've hosted in Mass?
Yeah, this will be the first one.
Oh, I know we're gonna be excited for it. Like I said, I've
Oh
been
yeah.
a fan. I'm sure there's more people than just me, and that's the thing. If even if you get five of us Mass people to drive up to one show to Jersey, that's five new
Hell
fans.
yeah. Yeah, I had a lot for Creamania. There was a good couple coming from New England area. So and Connecticut now too. So hell yeah.
And Connecticut's another upping. I mean, Connecticut's always
Yeah.
been kind of like WWE territory with its headquarters, but there's still a lot of great wrestling out there too. And Rhode
Yeah.
Island as well. Rhode Island has a whole hoist of wrestling as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna be wrestling more in Connecticut, I believe, this year. I have some stuff coming up in Connecticut.
Oh, that should be fun.
Yeah.
New York's a little tricky though because of the commission and everything out there. I
Yeah.
find. I'll tell you, I went to one show in New York, and I still to this day don't know why it was booked in New York, but it was XPW's like return show, and it's
Oh
like
yeah.
death wrestling in New York just don't mix. Like
Yeah.
Schlack comes out, he starts bleeding like 2 minutes into the match. The commissioner just stops it.
Pops it right away. Yeah. New York is
And
nuts.
I knew this was gonna happen, but like the fans didn't know, and they're like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Don't you know there's a no blood law in New York? Like they're gonna
Yeah.
stop that."
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
I always like to get out and venture out. That's what the one thing that I think I'll take positive from 2020 is it allowed me to explore indie wrestling outward. Like I was able to sit back, watch IWTV, catch Jersey shows, catch shows like The Lab, catch
Yeah.
shows like Camp Leapfrog, catch other shows, and meet other wrestlers that weren't just in my area, and then travel. At 21, I was traveling all over the place. I went as far, like I said, to the H2O Center out that way, and that VXS show.
Mhm.
Forget the name of it, but and all the way up, all the way to Maine, and in between, all in there, and that's what wrestling is, though. It's you can take it as much in as you want.
Yeah. This is there's always something for everybody, especially now in the indie scenes with how booming it is. Oh my god.
Now, let me ask you. I mean, I don't mean to pry, but is now you like a full-time wrestler now because of the promoting too,
Oh,
or
I wish. I still have my shoot job, but I wrestle a lot more now. I would say back and I did back. I always cut myself busy, but I feel like I'm like, especially like the last couple of years, like I think about 3.5 years, I've been like go 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 every weekend, like multiple bookings.
and that's the thing. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with shoot jobs. I have a shoot job too. Obviously, I don't
Yeah,
podcast full time. I'd have to be like Mister Beast or somebody important. But um, do you find it like when you do the resident, it's just like Monday through Friday, you're whatever, and then it's like once the weekend hits, like wrestling's on. It's like leave
yeah.
me alone.
Time to assemble Stan Styles and go do my thing.
Have you ever made more in the weekend than you do at the shoot job?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. There were times I would say with them. Actually, you know what? Yeah, WrestleMania weekend that I made. I took off because I did like all those shows. So and then I did my show. So yeah, I definitely did. But there was times where I made a lot of money on the weekend from wrestling where I'm like, wow, this is almost another week's worth of income. You know? So I'm like, hell yeah.
And what do you do like to not burn yourself out? Because you're pretty steady. So what do you do to not like just be a burnout?
Man, I love my. I'm such an introvert, honestly, which is crazy. You would think like what? A lot of wrestlers are actually introverted. I very much I just love being home now. I just chill, go to the gym, or just watch like YouTube now, or just watch just relax, veg out, watch anime, and just forget about wrestling. Because sometimes wrestling is like, all right, you gotta turn that off for a second, just for a little bit, and just like be a normal person.
So you're able to kind of like shut off that
I can
world,
turn
kind
it
of
off
get back
sometimes.
into this world, and then like, up, shut that world off, jump
Yeah,
back into there. But that takes a lot of kind of perseverance and takes a lot discipline.
yeah, 100%.
Because there's some people that can very easily lose themselves in one way or the other. They lose themselves in their character, and you could be
Yeah.
creamy everywhere you go, and not even be able to
Yeah,
go in public.
I think a lot of people don't understand like how like the mental health is important to us because it can really really take a toll sometimes.
It is, and and I hate to like it's the truth, even being in social media and doing,
Yeah,
web, I get a lot of negativity. A lot of it is just deleting or ignoring. And I'm sure as a wrestler, you get even more because everything is criticized nowadays. Everything
everything.
is,
Yeah,
and no matter what you do, even if it's great, and it's like you got to just kind of turn that off and turn all those vibes off because at the end of the day, you're still getting paid.
yeah. And there's this
And it's not by their opinions. Their opinions aren't paying you.
there's a lot of creepers and just people that just have no lives. Like I see it all the time. Like girls will post on like their Instagram like fake account, delete this if they try to add you. Like I'm like, come on. Like there's a lot of that stuff, a lot of scammers. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I think, wrestling can sometimes get a bad rap because you do
Mhm.
hear these horrible stories. Unfortunately, in 2020, there was a lot of, it was a great cleansing, but it was also a lot of heartbreak because it was people that you would never thought of getting, oh my God, what? Like people even I support. I was like throwing merch out. I'm like, I just bought that the other day, ring one. I'm like, now I got to throw that away. I'm like,
Yeah,
but it's heartbreaking to see because you don't expect it, and it's not something you think about, but it happens everywhere. I mean, it's not just wrestling, but it kind of puts a sour taste. But seeing, like I said, good things done right, it brings, people in. Well, it's not always like that. Wrestling isn't always like that.
yeah.
You never hear your shows have never been brought up in bad light. I've never heard anything,
Crazy.
hey, this happened at Stan's show. We can't go there no more. It's like, no,
No,
I've never heard that. So that speaks for itself because, like I said, people do talk.
yeah, no, everybody loves my shows. Like this is the show like I needed in life. They told me that. Like I never knew there was a show like this. I can't wait for the next one. It's so good. Like I feel like they have laughs and silliness and just it's just a good fun time. Yeah, I don't like to have any drama. I don't book any people that bring drama. If they do, I
And then being, a wrestler, obviously yourself, you kind of know what it takes and kind of know how to treat them as well and how you would
yeah,
want to be treated by a booker, a promoter, or et cetera. How would you want the locker room to be if you were walking
yeah,
in?
hundred
Kind of
percent.
kind of set that up because you have that other side of the experience.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So where can folks find these tickets?
So there's a ticket link. I believe on my Twitter and Instagram. I don't know what the ticket link right now, but if you go with my Internet Bonanza, IGB Bonanza on now it's X. There's a ticket link there. Instagram either at Focus Pro or Internet Bonanza. Um, and yeah, there's a ticket link where you can get tickets at for the show. It's Saturday night, May 25th, 8 p.m.
And I do suggest people do grab tickets because the
Yeah.
last show did sell out. It's not a super huge venue. It's a nice size venue, but it's not super huge, and it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
once the matches start getting announced, tickets are going to start moving.
Yeah, they should be coming out real soon. I'm like, I'm waiting for them, and then once I think, especially for the couple matches, especially my match, people are gonna be like, oh my goodness, okay.
But so like as soon as I saw that and like that, I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I know you're not here. Guess what? I'm going to wrestle this night. I'm buying the ticket now. Like I understand. I'm like, I just have to. It's gonna sell.
You're not, yeah, you won't be
Um,
disappointed ever. Staying Styles. I'll be,
I know shows that do that. One's match will come out. The tickets will be sitting, and the match will be announced, and like all of a sudden they're
mm-hmm.
gone. It's like,
Yeah,
oh
100%.
man.
Especially that
And
week of the show.
where can folks find you? Where can they find? I
Uh,
mean, you mentioned somewhere on on Axon, but where can they? Is that the official? Where's all the official names?
let's just make it easy. Just write it on Google. Stan Styles, the Z at the end, not an S, a Z, and I'll pop up all over. I'll be all. You'll be very easy to find me on all the social media platforms.
It's gonna pop right up. That's straight. And we'll include links in
There you
the
go.
bio of this for the people that don't want to Google. Some people don't like to Google, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I had some other day. I was like, "Can you Google?" They're like, "Oh, I don't use Google." I'm like, "You don't use Google? How are you finding things?"
Just put up Stan Styles on any social media platform, and I'll pop up.
And they can check their shows out on IWTV. That is correct, right?
Yes. Yep.
Previous shows, and this one will be on IWTV as well.
We're trying to get it on. I know that. Well, so the crew is on vacation, but we're looking for another crew, or they're looking for another crew to film it because the equipment's there. If it's not going to be on IWTV, it'll be on my YouTube. But we're trying very hard to get it on IWTV. And that's going to be news coming up real soon if it's going to be on. I'm pretty sure it will be.
Very good. Can't wait. Like I said, this is something like I said, I've been waiting for a very long time, and I'm sure all the fans are gonna be very excited for. We just can't wait for it. And thank you for taking the time coming out speaking again. It's been an honor, honestly.
No problem. No problem.
Can't wait to check out your show. I'm gonna have to buy some new merch. Just kind of an
Hell,
older.
oh yeah, that's old. That's probably 2017, 18 right there.
Yeah, right. I need like one of those Chris CWO shirts.
Yes,
That's
I gotta have a
the
lot of
that's the new era right there.
the new era. Yep, always something new, something different, something fresh, fresh
But
cream.
yes, there we go. Thank you very much, Sam. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime. I gotta take a shot now for you. Here we go. That's right.
Yes, there we go. And thank you, everybody at home. And as always, supporting the wrestling. Check out this show. Check out all the links. Check out everything because it's great. Versace Stunner out.